Keep riveted still.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone. Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 159. And here we are exploring all of the Twilight Zone. Today we're taking a closer look at season 2 episodes A Penny for Your Thoughts and 22. And so before we get into the episodes we're covering today, I want to say hello to Scotty R37. Hello, how's your Tuesday?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. You know,
Good
wake
Tuesday.
up, have some coffee, watch some Twilight Zone. It was fun.
Oh yes, my coffee's pretty good. Hello to Gavin Blackburn, who says first. Oh, that's all. He's
Sweet.
just cementing his first. It's Nordapupus, Cuber. It's so good to see you. He says, "Hello, humans and other critters."
Hey, Poopus.
I do wonder what other critters have arrived.
That's me.
And so we also have Matt G here as Swift -1. Hello.
Hello.
And also PG, who also says hello. So, also, before we get into the episodes, we're encountering our first episode written by George Clayton Johnson. And Mark Scott Zicree from the Twilight Zone Companion introduces us to him in his book. And I want to share a little bit from that. I'll paraphrase, so if you want to see what he says verbatim, you got to read his book. So George Clayton Johnson, this is his first episode. He's one of the big writers of the Twilight Zone, even though he didn't write as many as the others. You know, Serling, Beaumont, and Matheson. And he only had 4 stories to his name: Execution, The Four of Us Are Dying, The Prime Mover, which we haven't seen, 90 Years Without Slumbering, which we haven't seen, and 4 teleplays, ones that he wrote and probably did the story on too. Definitely did the story on A Penny for Your Thoughts, because I just learned about it. And the ones we haven't seen are A Game of Pool, Nothing in the Dark, and Kick the Can. So he didn't do too much, but apparently what he did was really good. So I definitely enjoyed this one today. So let's see. He has quite a bit of backstory in terms of how he became a writer, not the typical, oh, look at me, I have a normal life and everything, and I go to school and everything. He had to struggle quite a bit. And so what happened was he had parents, but I guess they divorced, and so he was left with his alcoholic mom. And she was very neglectful, so other family would take care of him, but they wouldn't really give him much love or anything. Just like, oh, here's some hand-me-downs and stuff. Then he broke his leg, and he kept asking his mom to buy him some magazines to read, some pulp magazines, some stories. But she couldn't figure out what to do, so he just daydreamed. And so he as such, he skipped school a lot because of this injury and everything, and so he flunked 6th grade. He dropped out of 8th grade. It doesn't sound like the life of someone who becomes a great writer, but he did it. So at 14, the courts, it was so bad, the courts took him away from his mom, and then she got him back, but then but then he started drinking again. This is way out of, like, Scott says, Mark Scott writes this differently. But then so finally George says, "Can I just leave?" And so he does at 16. And his mom says, "All right, you can leave." And he does. And then he starts working as a shoe shine polisher, but he sees what a sad life that is. So I guess he enlists in the army, so that's what turns his life around, I suppose, because he learns drafting, which helps him do some architecture work and stuff. So then, and somehow he figures out he wants to be a writer, and he makes it into the writers club, including Beaumont. And so he finally sold All of Us Are Dying and then Execution, which were stories that we've seen already, with teleplays written by other people. And so you don't get as much money for the story by credit as you do with the teleplay credit. So finally he gets that. He finally gets the script for the episode we're talking about today that he wrote, A Penny for Your Thoughts. And okay, so he says the idea for this came from this quote he has here. "We had a practice of going out in a car and schmoozing while we just drove interminably, interminably out along the beach here and there, and I was having some very strong opinions about science fiction and about stories and about what was art. And John Tomerlin, later to work with Beaumont on Number 12 Looks Just Like You, was writing the Lawman series." Okay. So he kind of goes on and on. What? George, you ought to put your money where your mouth is. It's one thing for you to have all these opinions about what's good and bad and to put us down in various ways, but then you've got to prove you can do better, or else we can't take you seriously. So I decided then that nothing would stop me from finishing the work I was doing, which was A Penny for Your Thoughts. So because they chided him that way, he actually finally did write this teleplay. And oh man, he really can write, and he shares a lot. Read Mark Scott Zicree's book, but I enjoyed this story very much. And who arrived? I think some people arrived. Hello to Eraserhead.
Hello.
Hi. And that's good to see you today. We also have Greek Glitters Larson. If I had a penny for every thought I had, I'd be a really poor person. Oh no, don't put no. We're used to you trolling us. Now you're doing it to yourself. Okay. So now we can get to A Penny for Your Thoughts. I do like that this Twilight Zone companion introduces us to the writers of these stories when it's appropriate.
Well, and also, I'm surprised you didn't bring up the fact that he wrote The Man Trap.
And he wrote The Man Trap. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get around to the Star Trek stuff, so I'm glad that I didn't remember that he wrote that. That's great. Huh. Yeah, and that's of course the very first Star Trek episode broadcast on TV.
Yes. And in other non-Star Trek news, he did the story and screenplay for Ocean's 11. Not that anybody on that production paid attention to the script, but
oh no, really? they just took his work and just remade it however they want. Well, that happens to writers a lot, unfortunately.
Well, no, it was more because Ocean's 11, famously a Rat Pack movie, and so it was Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, Peter Lawford. Oh, Norman Fell is in there. It's a star-studded cast. But they basically didn't really pay much attention to the script because it was just the Rat Pack hanging out in Vegas. And so they would make the movie all day, and then they would drink and perform all night. But it was very loose. And by the time you get to the end of the original Ocean's 11, it's like, that's it? All right. And I think that this is one that isn't really brought up all that often because there is such a high regard for the original Ocean's 11 because of the cast. Yeah, absolutely. Pete G, Cesar Romero, also television's The Joker in Batman 66. But that is an example of the remake being somewhat superior to the original, at least in pacing and plot.
If they were ignoring the script, were they ad-libbing a lot or just saying whatever they wanted? What was going on there?
Well, they were probably loosely following the script, but if you watch it, it's basically them just hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And
we can talk all about it next week on our new Ocean's 11 podcast.
Gavin says, I don't want to fall into a man trap. Sounds awful. Yeah, you got to be careful in believing what you see.
The salt.
It might just suck all the salt out of you. Yes. So there was also a little more here from the companion. He said, I felt like a sort of stranger on the set. It was the Twilight Zone set, not mine, and I felt like I was being allowed to eavesdrop, being allowed there while it was done. And while this was happening, Rod came through with a couple of people, visitors he brought, and he saw me and Lola, and he stopped to introduce us to these people, and his attitude toward me was one of great respect. It wasn't like, I'm Rod Serling, and this is one of my flunkies on the set. It was more like, look, here's a man who wrote this absolutely wizard thing that we're making right now. It really built up my ego and made me feel worthwhile. And so he's very, yeah, he appreciates what he gets in life. Very much seems like. And he also says that he felt like a king. Yeah, I think I would, working on the Twilight Zone. Also, this episode was directed by James Sheldon, and this is one of the first of 6 episodes that he directs. And he makes 2 of the funny bits in this episode, which I'll describe as we get to them. And our cast is Hector B. Poole, played by Dick York. Miss Turner, Dick York. Miss Turner, played by June Dayton. Mr. Bagby, Dan Tobin. Mr. Smithers by Cyril Delavanti. Mr. Sykes by Hayden Rourke. Mr. Brand by Harry Jackson. And then there's a driver, Frank London. Oh yeah, that guy who almost runs him over. And a newsboy by Anthony Ray. And so that's where we start our story, is with the newsboy. And he's at work. And so then we meet Hector, and he tosses a quarter to pay for the paper. And it miraculously lands on its side instead of its heads or tails. And so the newspaper salesman says, "This must be your lucky day, mister. That'll never happen again in a million years."
It's like when you swear and Gorilla buys a lottery ticket.
Mm. Well, even rarer than that.
Yeah.
Because anytime I swear, I don't immediately start gaining the capability of reading people's thoughts. So,
and thank heavens for that.
Yeah, imagine if it would transmit it through the internet also. It's not just limited to people that I can get close to. So this episode is basically one of your discussions about what superpower you would have, and well, Hector doesn't get a choice. He's given mind reading. And hey, look, Maddie's daddy is here. Hello.
Hey.
PG says that episode is salty. Yes. I always wonder why they don't just say, "Hey, Starbase, send us some salt."
Well, yes. I guess investigating the deaths as well of the
Oh yeah, that too. I don't know. It's early on. They probably don't have all that stuff established. So I give it a lot of leeway, that episode. the glove cleaner says, and hello, the glove cleaner. Definitely don't want that superpower. Yeah, yeah. As he finds out, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah. And
Again,
yeah, I guess he's overwhelmed a little by it. I think I'd dig mind reading.
he's confused by it. I don't think
Yeah.
he even realizes that it's happening. He's just like, how are these people speaking without opening their mouths? Has everyone become a ventriloquist? And so, let's see, where I'm looking at something from the companion. I don't know if it's something I want to read or not. Oh, right. The original story was about it was also about a mind reader, but he was gambling. He was playing poker, and so he'd keep playing. I'm paraphrasing this. He kept playing poker and he kept winning because he could read everybody's minds and he knew when people were bluffing and stuff. And then he gets all the way to the top, but he's against a Chinese person, so of course that person is thinking in Chinese,
Oh no.
and that's the twist there. I thought that was a cute little other alternative to the story. So, oh wait, we have pictures. Let's look at some of these pictures.
Let's look at the slides.
Yeah, I like them. So here's that part I already described of Hector buying his newspaper with it says a penny for your thoughts, but he's clearly tossing quarters.
I think it's a euphemism, but yeah, noted.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's a I get it. It's a cliche. And of course, it makes sense because you pay a penny for thoughts, and in this case, he's able to read the thoughts. So I do get why the title is named that. But here we have a quarter.
Oh, back in the day when there were newspapers and quarters.
Mm.
You
Well, it
guys
must
still have
be
pennies? You guys still have pennies in the United States of that there, America?
not for long. We still do. I think they're going to be canceled soon, but not for long. And eventually the companies will not be able to say it's $9.99. They're going to have to say $9.95. So
Well, we like in up here in the Great White North, we got rid of the pennies, and so if you pay electronically, you have to pay to the penny. But if you are paying in cash, then it rounds up or down. So if it's $9.99, it's $10. If it's $9.96, it's $9.95, or so forth.
I want my penny back. Forget this. This is bullshit. Okay. Okay, so he bumps into this one guy. He seems to be nice and everything about it, but he's insulting him in his mind. So I just really like this episode a whole lot because it's fun to think about what people are actually thinking. And so he's standing next to this woman. She's just gossiping, or she just gossip is running through her mind. Then another man bumps into him, but he has the opposite reaction to the first aggressive one. He was kind of like afraid that Hector's going to hit him. And then Hector decides to cross the street, and as you can see here, someone almost hits him. And oh yeah, sorry, I was you might see me in the corner up there, rare kind of thing.
Rare on screen.
Yes. And the driver is very apologetic, but Hector says there's no harm done, and this driver is kind on the outside, but really inside he's saying this: "You clumsy idiot! Wish you'd broken your full neck." Even still, Hector lets it go. He still doesn't realize what's happening.
Just happy to be alive.
Yeah, just happy to be alive. You wanna read the other thing the driver says that then just for one.
Sure. I'll be the salty driver.
Yeah. Where's my there it is.
Well, and while you're oh, there it is. Outstanding. Lame brain, with your asinine jaywalking, you took 10 years off my life. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you're okay, sir.
Mhm.
Why, look, I wish you'd broken your damn fool neck.
Gavin Blackburn wants to tell us that Clint Eastwood in Firefox had to think Russian to fly the thought-piloted Russian aircraft.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I've never
I
seen
was just, I,
Firefox.
oh, you should totally check it out. Firefox it's good. It's good-ish. But they do say that it is controlled by your mental impulses. And they mention it, but then it never really comes up again. So he does. There's a lot of things he has to do to be able to fly the
That's
Firefox. But
interesting. Is
yeah,
that what the browser is based on?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Could be. But also, that reminds me of the passing of, and I don't remember the actor's name, of Admiral Piet from The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He's in Firefox, which is fun to see. Fun to see Star Wars actors who don't yet necessarily get a lot of screen time in other flicks. If you know any other Admiral Piet trivia, like his name, please feel free to shout out in the chat.
Agreed. Yes. And hello, I want to welcome Canadian Spider-Man. He says, "Hi, Jill. We do see you." Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was
Pushing
chatting.
buttons.
Yeah, I was pushing buttons and I appeared on screen. I meant to remove that slide, but you guys got a special treat. Nobody puts anti-derivative Jill in the corner except for me. I can put myself in the corner.
True story.
So the driver probably just knows pedestrians have the right of way, so that's why he's being extra nice.
Well, you never want to get sued.
True. And so
And
in the original, oh, go ahead.
well, I
Oh,
just
there he
wanted
is.
to, because of Dick York, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Bewitched, because he played Darren Stevens on that show alongside Elizabeth Montgomery, who was a '60s smoke show. He's the first of two Darren Stevens, and as it was brought to my awareness through the movie Wayne's World, the first actor to play Darren Stevens was Dick Sargent, it was Dick York, and the second one was Dick Sargent, and so Sergeant York. Just an interesting coincidence.
Yes. Very cool.
Sergeant, yeah.
No,
Sergeant York
don't be
being
sorry.
a comic book character.
Mhm. Watch Your X says, "One on a million moments do transpire. I dumped out a magic deck, and 99 cards stood on end, supported only by one single leaning card. That card was the deck's commander."
Wicked. Freak occurrences.
Yeah. Kenneth
Kenneth
Coley,
Cawley.
Admiral
Thank you,
Platt,
Poopus.
had quite the filmography. And Sterling tapping into the future. Bewitched cast often.
Well, and we get the crossover that no one thought would happen later on in this episode, and so I'll point that out when we get to it.
Yes, yeah, I thought it was funny. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and I want to do before we get going, just because again Greek letters is here, but big shout out, and hopefully that Jedi Master is feeling better. I know that he had to reschedule his Lost in Space review from last night, and so I hope he's doing well.
Yes, I hope he is feeling better today, and he's getting the help he needs. And PG says, "Sergeant York was a real guy. Gary Cooper played him. Sergeant Rock was in comics.
That makes more sense. Thanks, PG.
Yes, thank you, BG. Very good. Watcher X says they said it couldn't be done. Okay, so in the original script, there was no tossing of a coin. Apparently, Dick York gets his mental powers from this car accident instead, or I think.
Is it kind of like What Women Want? Have you ever seen the Mel Gibson movie, What Women Want?
I forget what's the catalyst of his mind reading abilities there.
He's drunk and testing out lady products, and I think he falls into a bathtub with a hairdryer.
Oh, normally that would kill people.
Not to Mel Gibson, I tells you.
So, yeah. So this kind of was almost an accident. It was someone on set, but it didn't say which someone came up with the idea of putting a string on a coin, and Johnson shows it to Serling, and Serling says he likes the idea, so that's how it got switched. So now we're ready for the opening narration. And I will read it. Opening narration. Mr. Hector B. Poole, resident of the Twilight Zone. Flip a coin and keep flipping it. What are the odds? Half the time, it will come up heads. Half the time, tails. But in one freakish chance in a million, it'll land on its edge. Mr. Hector B. Poole, a bright human coin, on his way to the bank. Because Hector's on his way to the bank because he works there. And so
yes.
Yes.
Which I would find extremely difficult to do if one lens in my glasses were broken.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems to not bother him so much. Kenneth Coley played Jesus in Life of Brian.
Amazing. Sweet.
A man being able to read a woman's mind. That really is sci-fi.
True.
And so this is how we meet Mr. Bagsby. I think that was his name, Bagsby. And he's trying to get out of. He's explaining away his affair. That that girl doesn't mean anything. Let's go do stuff to his wife. But he's really just
he's a real Don Draper, that one.
Yeah, he's cheating on his wife, essentially.
Which was the fashion at the time.
And Hector interrupts the phone call he's having with his wife or with Felicia. I don't know who's who. I don't know if he's talking. I don't know if he's talking to his wife or okay, it's Felicia. Okay. So he was on the phone with his wife, but then he switches to the phone call with Felicia because he has to juggle two women. And then Hector wants to relate to his boss why he's late, and he starts talking about how he's always making sure to be prompt, but and the boss says, "Oh, we're all aware of your devotion," but in his mind, he wants Hector to get out of there. He's gonna lose time with his with the girl on the phone, and now Poole is confused about hearing all this stuff that he shouldn't be hearing, and his mouth isn't moving here either in terms of talking about the other girl.
Well, and that's I think that's something that I took away from this episode is just that there are a lot of just reactionary thoughts that people have, and it's not necessarily that anyone's harboring malice. It's just their reactionary emotions, because they do.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Bagsby is very complimentary, verbally, and also he does assist. But he is sort of like, oh, why are you wasting my time? I have to get back on the phone with my poontang.
Yeah, but also he's self-conscious of his crimes.
Of course.
Darren York? Walt Disney, too, says Canadian Spider-Man.
Dick York.
See?
Does he? Yeah, I guess he does have it. If he had, Walt Disney is what Mr. Bagsby kind of looks like.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Yeah, you're right. Oh, okay. I was wondering what Spidey was meaning. Spidey also says many women don't know what they want themselves, so good luck if you're a dude trying to figure it out. He spelled it Canadian. JD Lewis says, Happy Tuesday, everybody. I have to leave soon for a doctor's appointment, but I just stopped in to say hi. I really enjoyed Dr. Bellows later in the episode as a closet gambler. Have a great day. Yeah, yeah. That is a great part of the episode. Thank you, J.D. Lewis.
Good luck at the doctor.
Yes. Good luck at the doctor. I hope you have really great luck there. More luck than people have at the racetrack, the horse racetrack. I was trying to fit that in there. Dick York, right. Spidey, yes. Yeah, so then he walks by this guy who's thinking about sports. And when Hector responds to the thoughts, because he still thinks that this guy is talking out loud, he confuses him. Because who wants someone to respond to their thoughts? That's not something that anybody expects.
Well, and it's most of the time when he's hearing, he is sort of in a position not to be able to see their faces. So it could be like, what did you say? So yeah, it's plausible.
Yeah, it is plausible.
Bird.
It is plausible. But at this point, even if he sees their mouth, he still tries to talk to them as if they were talking out loud because it doesn't occur to him right away that he has a superpower. Old Man Bird says men know what they want, but then you have to live with them and pay for all their stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. And are more simpler, for sure. PG says Dr. Bellows is the most tragic character in sitcom history. Slowly gaslit and driven insane by Jeannie and Major Nelson.
True story.
Okay, and then he greets a customer who hopes he's okay, but in his head the customer pretends to be happy, but secretly wonders if he's the one who overdrafted his account. So, when you spend more money than you have, and even if that's true, that's not the bank's fault that he got overdrafted. It's his fault for not knowing how to balance his checkbook. So, anyway.
Oh, back when bank fraud was easy.
Then there's this lady who's counting some money here, but she looks quite happy, but she's not thinking of anything. How is this possible? I guess sometimes you're quiet in your mind and she's just happily reveling in some cash she got. Anyway, she's not thinking of anything. And this is one of the bits that James Sheldon thought to put in here is that, sometimes someone is just got a blank mind.
Just vacant. I'm like that often.
We're just like, oh, this is nice. Like she just got a high off the money or something. And then we meet
Helen.
This is Helen, but wait, what's her? We don't know her name's Helen until later. Her name is something else.
Miss Tweed.
Gosh.
Right?
No,
like
Tweed. No, it's Miss. No, where is it?
Helen
Miss
Turner. Miss Turner.
Miss Turner. There it is. We got there at the same time, and she's worried that he looks tired and pale. She's doing some filing.
I got hit by a car this morning.
Oh, she really cares about him. Like, you can tell right away.
True.
What? Yeah, he doesn't even tell her that. Old Man Bird, thank you so much for the 1999 super sticker. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing of your treasure.
It's a Bishibo with a trophy.
Oh, yeah. Wait, do I have it? Here it is. Here, now you can all see it.
Delightful.
That's cute.
Thank you again.
Yes, thank you. Oh, should I play something? Oh, I'll play an old Twilight Zone clip. This is the only one I have. Well, no, this isn't
What
the
about
only
the
one I
norm?
have. I can play.
You have the norm.
I have Norm? I don't have any Norm. I should get some Norm.
You do. You have the Twilight Zone where he plays Rod Serling.
What?
Actually,
Oh, that Norm.
Yeah.
Where do I have that? Oh, I don't know if I have it.
You had it a while ago.
Yeah, but I had it in this thing over here. I don't know. Yeah, no. I don't. It's kind of difficult to get to these videos. Oh, what the hell?
They switched everything around.
I switched everything around.
Oh, wow.
Oochie woochie coochie coo, Captain.
Right. Okay, so when did we do that? That was for Canada Day. That was actually the very last Twilight Zone episode, so it would be in here. So I'll play it just for Old Man Bird. But I have to unmute my screen. Don't play any videos.
Okay.
Play it right now. You can see it.
I think so.
So there you have it.
Delightful.
How did I play that? Oh, no. It's playing the whole video. All right. Oh, I hate when it does that. I gotta go to miscellaneous and turn off, what is it? When playback is finished, stay in current area. That's something I usually do before the show. But I did it now. Let's go back to our slides, because we've got an episode.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This man needs a witch.
Men want bacon, cheese, and bacon. We are simple. Infuriatingly, so it seems.
True story.
Yeah, that's right. I asked my husband what he wants for dinner, and he says food. So I gotta figure it out. The glove cleaner says, I got nothing.
But I've got nothing. Usually I like to put an ironic twist on this, but that woman was hot. In the Twilight Zone.
I like how, well, that is pretty good. They even had the other people look piggy. So
In the big masks?
tried. Yeah.
Yes.
It's good. Oh, where are we? Okay, so so I like that there's a transition where he's not sure what's happening exactly. But he has to deal with Mr. Sykes of the Ajax, Mr. Sykes of Ajax Cement. So not the cleaning product.
The man is a cad.
Yes. About him, Mr. Sykes, the employee tells Mr. Poole that Mr. Sykes has been approved for a $200,000 loan, which is a lot of money if you count for inflation, even though I didn't do the calculation today.
I'll do it.
And if you want to, do that for me, please. That's what I was fishing for. And because Mr. Sykes is saying he wants to expand his business, probably that was his reason. But he's really lying, because in his mind, he's revealing that his company's going bankrupt, and he's decided that he can use this loan money to go to the racetrack and to try to earn all the money back by gambling.
So in today's dollars, 200,000 would be $2,150,000. $150,267.56.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a lot. I knew it was going to be over $1 million. Yeah, 2 million. Nice. All right. So, but Hector reminds him he's going to need to pay this back in 90 days. Let me see. Oh, this is the wrong one. I wanted to get some of the dialogue here. All right. I wanted to.
PG says, I miss Norm so bad. So do I.
Yes.
And the glove cleaner, gotta pay the ponies. Have you ever played the ponies, Jill? Have you ever been to a racetrack?
I have never been to a racetrack. I get. There might have been like a external racetrack, like if you go to a casino in Vegas, I think you could play it from a remote casino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah, I think I saw
betting.
that. I think I saw that. That's the closest I've ever been to it.
I don't think I've ever actually been to one with like a jockey. I've been to harness races, but I don't trust
harness
them.
Race.
Yeah, they've got like a little.
Difference.
Well, they've got a little carriage behind the horse. Almost like a little chariot.
Oh my god. That's kind of Roman.
Oh yeah.
A day at the races is great fun, says PG. Yeah, I've never done it. We all do a great job of moderating each other's channels. And the campfire parties are a lot of fun. I know. Hey, Spidey, I didn't realize you were streaming last night. That's cool. I've got to go listen to that later. So anyway, according to Mr. Sykes, his business is going bankrupt. He's going to play the horses, and that's where we were. So, yeah, this is the point where maybe Mr. Poole is still not getting the idea that he's reading minds, because he makes the mistake of repeating, "Oh, you're going to play the horses? Maybe that's not such a good idea." And Mr. Sykes is offended to hear the truth, and Hector is still having a hard time understanding that he's reading minds. He's a little slow on the uptake, this Mr. Hector Poole. And
well, he's a simple man.
Yeah.
A simple man who fulfills his duty and really enjoys being punctual. Not necessarily a man of imagination.
That's true. And Mr. Bagby offers to correct the mistake from Mr. Sykes. And that has occurred from this accusation, but as it turns out, he loses this particular account. But we learn that later. I don't know why I'm saying it now, but that's what happens there. Then we see Miss Turner. There she is, and she's saying, "Oh man, Hector, he does all the work but none of the credit." But it kind of sounds like it's coming from the bust of this George Washington.
That is George Washington. I thought that was an interesting set decision. Obviously, it helps with the misdirection of what did the bust say? But I'd never seen a bust of George Washington in a bank before, and it makes perfect sense considering he's on the $1 bill. Of course, there would be a bust.
Makes sense. It definitely does. But this was another idea from the director, James Sheldon. He thought, hey, let's put a bust here. So
I kept expecting Adam West to jump out and flip open the head and release reveal the bat poles.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So he hears her kind thoughts, and I kind of like the face he makes. The faces he makes. Like
That's the face. That is the bewitched face, Samantha.
It's fun. I was like, man, it kind of reminds me of Jim Carrey, but then thinking, oh no, wait, Jim Carrey's going to him.
Wow, I'm sure that Jim Carrey would take that as a compliment.
Oh, I don't know if he would, but it made me think of him. And what is odd is that Hector, he's thanking her for her kind thoughts, but there's no way she would know if he can read her mind, so it's not a great move to respond to her thoughts like this. And then this other sleazy guy is like, "Oh, you're romancing the help here," and and he's like, "Well, yeah, Miss Turner is the prettiest girl in the account section," but in his mind, what he's really saying is, which is saying absolutely nothing. I haven't seen such an aggregation of beast. I feel like you should be reading this.
No.
Since the last time I went to the circus, not much of a chance for socializing around a bank is there. So this one is probably a tiger under the proper conditions. I can't read this straight face. This guy's such a jerk. All the sweet prim types revert to the jungle once more.
Oh yeah. Why do you think people have librarian fantasies? They just they're all prim and proper, and they're all buttoned down until you get them into the boudoir, and then all of a sudden,
God.
freak in the sheets, yo. See, I'm glad I didn't bring up the blue jokes today. It was all this little monkey.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a name, does he? What's his name?
Yeah, sure he does.
I'm sure he has a real name, but they don't say his name in the episode. Let's see. Process of elimination. Who is he? He's not Bagby. He's not Smithers. He's
Brand.
not Sykes. He's Mr. Brand. That's it.
That name again is Mr. Brand.
Yeah, Mr. Brand. Mr. Brand. He's a dirty man.
Well, like everyone seems to be a little off. We got a closet gambler, a guy who fantasizes about robbing the bank, one guy who is like, oh, boom. I bet if I got you home, you would teach me some songs. And we got the philanderer who's cheating on his wife. The only two people of any virtue in this episode are Hector and Helen.
Yes. Canadian Spider-Man says the Perth Cup happens in Western Australia every New Year's Day. So many people in fancy clothes and ladies with fancy hats. It's hot, so everyone spends the day under beer tents. It gets a bit silly. Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Oh no, it's great. If there is one thing those Western Australians know how to do, it is imbibe, and I was happy to do so.
And hello to Rio. Stop everything, Rio. Jill. You have a cursor in the shape of an enterprise? Yes, I do, and there's a whole video about it too.
How to do it yourself?
Yeah, how to do it yourself. I got all tingly when they look at you over the top of. I get all tingly when they look at you over the top of their eyeglasses.
Hell yes.
That's funny. That's cute. And so Hector pours water all over Mr. Brand, now that we know his name.
I'm glad it wasn't coffee.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would be worse. Although, even though what Mr. Brand's saying is kind of rude, it's just his thoughts in his own mind. He should be allowed to have dirty thoughts if he wants to have them. He's not really hurting anybody because he's keeping them to himself.
Yes.
So I even though I don't like his thoughts, he's allowed to have them. But Hector's like, I'm gonna pour water all over you, and you're not gonna know why.
Well, and that's the thing that I took away from this is that people they have their thoughts, but thank heavens that they don't act upon them. And so you don't go to jail for being a dick. York.
Exactly. Especially if you're censoring yourself.
Mm-hmm. But
you didn't say any of that stuff out loud.
Right, but this is how Hector is attempting to sort of decide what to do with his newfound superpowers, and apparently embarrassing cads is is number one on the docket.
Yeah. Yeah, the only problem with that is people hide their true selves, and it takes a while to actually get to know them. There's an Okay, so then we meet Mr. Smithers, and he
Old
expresses
man
his
Smithers.
Smithers wants is tired of his job, and he's ready to rob the place and leave forever. Speaking of Ocean's 11 stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I wonder how long it will take for them to discover that the money is gone. Because every day he goes into the safe and everything, and so this time he's going to fill his briefcase with currency and be on a ship to Bermuda by nightfall.
Well, and that was. I can only assume that this is a Friday because Mr. Bagby is making plans for the weekend with his
Side piece.
side piece, slam piece, and but I remember working at the bank on a Friday night, and we were packing away the cash to be dropped for pickup because Armored Car comes around every night to pick up all the money, and I think we counted out like $500,000. And one of the other managers, I wasn't the manager, said, "What do you guys think? You want to make a run for it?" And then not the manager of the bank, but like the manager of client care was like, "You wouldn't even get out of the province with $500,000. First things first, they would know immediately. Like there's cameras everywhere. And second, like what are you going to do with $500,000? That's hardly enough money to get out with." And so I can only assume like there's not a whole heck of a lot of money that he's going to be able to fit into his briefcase. So
He doesn't want a whole heck of a lot of money. He just wants enough to take a trip to Bermuda.
Well, but then he would have to get back. Also, Bermuda is British territory, I think. And so there is extradition. Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't really think this plan through. I think he had another plan for Fiji, which might have been a better choice.
Or Siam.
Yeah, someplace where the dollar will stretch better. Anyway.
South America.
And so it's almost 4:30. So he's Mr. Poole is upset that Mr. Smithers wants to rob the bank, so he starts telling people. First he tells Miss Turner, and she wants to speak to him privately, but probably about something else. And that could be done in Mr. Jones' office. Because Mr. Jones left. He was transferred. But yeah, she obviously has a thing for him.
Yes.
And
so Mr. Brand was actually quite correct. I wish he would take me into the office. I want to talk to him a little bit more privately.
Yeah, Mr. Brand was correct, but he didn't realize who was romancing who. She wants to romance him, but communication is difficult.
Well, he seems like he's clueless as to how he's reading minds, which is fine.
I'm clueless as to how he's reading reading minds.
It's the Twilight Zone, and
so he reveals to her the trouble he's been having hearing people's thoughts. But she wonders why he's taken so long to talk to her. He tells her someone plans to rob the bank, and that she says he has to do something about it. So he said he heads to Mr. Bagby, who was upset they lost the Ajax account. But he doesn't realize that's a good thing yet. Hector tells him that Mr. Smithers is planning to rob the bank, and Mr. Bigby can't believe it because Mr. Smithers was here before he arrived and is one of the most trusted employees. And then when he thinks about it, he considers, wow, maybe, isn't it always the most trusted employee that turns coat? And so he accosts Mr. Smithers and dumps all his stuff all over the table. Oh, but I got a lot of slides here for that. described it faster than I could get to the
Go.
slides.
Yeah, fair enough.
Here it is. It's 4:30 now. Now it's time for him to rob the bank. But no, he didn't do it. It turns out that Mr. Smithers' thoughts were just that. They were just thoughts. All that's in the bag is a sandwich and some socks. And a book. So Bagby is upset at Poole for this, and then of course Poole knows he's fired because he can read his thoughts. But Mr. Smithers isn't actually upset at this at all. He's curious as to how Poole knew about his fantasy. I don't always plan on bringing Muter, though. Sometimes it's Siam, Fiji, beautiful exotic places where there are no books to keep, where I'm not a little man with no future and no past. Yes, Mr. Poole, yes, but I'll never go through with it. You know why? I've lived with it too long. I'm old and set in my ways. And besides, Mr. Poole, I guess I'm a coward. And it's he didn't rob anything. He just dreams about it. And this is in contrast to the correct interpretation of the mind reading that tells Mr. Poole that Mr. Sykes is going to bet on racehorses. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I like that smile.
Well, it's also like, again, how many little daydreams and fantasies, if you're going to overhear them,
Mm-hmm.
it's not testimony to ill will.
Yeah, exactly. You can't charge someone with thought crime
Yet.
Canadian Spider-Man says Siam, Thailand, love Thailand. Koh Chang, Elephant Island for hammocks. Koh Tao, Turtle Island for scuba, and Bangkok's floating markets.
Well, I
wow.
also enjoy, and this is one of my favorite things, because you forget when you go and you spend any time in another country. It's like, I think about going to Florida or, the Caribbean or Hawaii or California, so, somewhere warm you want to go, or Bermuda even. But when you're in Australia and they're like, oh, we're going to Thailand. And one of my favorite things was when people would say that they were going on a week's vacation to Phuket, spelled Phuket. And I would be like, so how long are you going to be in Phuket? Because that's phonetically how it's spelled. So I would just kind of like, you can't say that. And I was like, it's how it's spelled. I never learned to read. Whatever. Come on. Fuck it. Phuket. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for the education and geography today of curse words in
It
our
wasn't a curse
world.
word. It's a city.
It's not
in
a real.
Thailand.
Yeah, it's a city in Thailand, but you can mispronounce it to be vulgar. Good work.
My society.
Let's all whisper. It's the Twilight Zone. And Christian Fandom Geek says, I'm here. Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, Christian Fandom Geek. Everyone good? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all right.
The glove cleaner said, glad to have me here. I'm glad to have you too. George Orwell imagined the thought police. We got fact checkers, which is even worse. And hello to Max Redstone. Hi.
Hey, Max.
Stop whispering. We can't hear you. Whisper. It's the
Jill.
Twilight Zone. What?
There we go. Jill's ASMR in the Twilight Zone. Imagine, if you will, a woman with two microphones shaped like ears.
Oh no, I didn't think about those. I don't understand the appeal, but anyway.
Well, I'm not going to deep throat my microphone to recreate the.
Well, me neither.
Good for us.
I think I was only whispering into the microphone because somebody requested it. It was asking for that. The glove cleaner.
It was the Twilight Zone.
Ooh.
Excuse me for just one moment. I'll be back in a flash.
Yeah. All right. Take your time. All right. So I just like how bemused this man is. Oh, he knew about my secret plans that were not really plans, just fantasies. They're just escapist thoughts that help him get through every day. And Miss Turner, she's still very kind to him, but thinks that his mind reading capabilities are actually just delusions and he's just getting lucky or something, I guess. But Hector really does read minds, so he responds to her saying that his ability is not a delusion, and this shakes her up. You have a poll? Is Scotty going for a cigarette or a drink? I already have a poll for the episodes, Max, but people can guess in the chat if they wish to, as Greek Letters is doing so. According to Greek Letters, Scotty's gone for a cigarette. We'll find out when he gets back. Hector says, Miss Turner, it is not a delusion. There, you see? I can read your thoughts. Until this morning, everything was normal. I was happy. At least I wasn't unhappy. And now this, it's like seeing people with their clothes off. I never imagined people were like that. You know, we do things without thinking about them at all. And we think things without having the slightest intention of doing them. So here's where Hector learns that people may, you know, they may give an outward appearance of something, but have a completely different personality on the inside. And I guess, yeah. And sometimes behavior is just a random thing. And so I don't know. I don't know if that'll change him personally or not. Because now he can see that not everybody is as they appear. But anyway, Bagby had just fired Poole, but he was fired for all of 2 minutes when Bagby comes out and says Mr. Sykes was fired for gambling with company money. So since Mr. Poole seriously saved the company over $200,000, which we found out is $2 million or so in today's money, of course, Poole gets a chance to get his job back for this. But he takes it a little bit further. And in her mind, Miss Turner tells Hector that he's wasted in his current position. He should be in charge of the account section, which is something it's actually open because the old Mr. Jones was transferred. So this is Helen is very much inspiring him to be a little stronger, be a little more assertive. And she's always liked him, but she realizes he has a problem with confidence. So she's giving him some confidence. She knows he's better than he thinks he is, and that he should fight for himself. And so emboldened by Miss Turner, now they're a team here. They're a really good team. Mr. Poole goes for Mr. Jones's old office, and this almost doesn't work, but then Mr. Poole thinks of the idea of using the information he knows about Mr. Bagby's infidelity with his wife and Felicia, and basically blackmails him into getting the job he deserves. And not just that, not only does Hector Poole get a promotion, but he also gets a trip to Bermuda for Mr. Smithers. So he uses his superpower for good, even though blackmailing is not so good, but who cares? He's a lying, dirty cheater, so it's fine, right? Oh, Greek Letters is now guessing a bathroom break in addition. Canadian Spider-Man is guessing coffee. And hello, Daniel's Hot Topics. People are guessing what Scotty is doing with his break. And we'll find out when he gets back. Since he didn't say anything in the private chat, so we'll have to wait to find out. There's also this other possibility that he's doing chores. Sometimes if he's gone for an extra long time, it's some kind of chore. And then he is finally confident enough to want to tell Mrs. Turner that he wants to leave with her. Yeah, he found a librarian, says the glove cleaner. She was watering plants and filing stuff, so I guess she's administrator. I don't know. Miss Turner's mind says, I'd go anywhere with you, but I wish you'd call me Helen. So Mr. Poole says, may I see you home, Helen? Of course you can, Hector.
Anywhere, Helen? Yes. So if you'll just give me just 2 seconds, I'm going to extort my boss for a moment.
Well, wait a minute. But oh yeah, he does that. He extorts his boss. He blackmails him into getting the job he wants and a trip to Bermuda for Mr. Smithers. But we had a discussion in the chat about where you went. And the first thing, Max Redstone says, is Scotty going for a cigarette or a drink? Or coffee, says Spidey.
Can a man not poop in peace?
Oh, then Greek Letters Larson wins.
Yeah!
Well, he isn't listening to Rush.
True story.
Oh, and Glove Cleaner thinks you found a librarian.
I wish.
Or you're eating a Kit Kat.
Smarties, actually. Nope, just had to go to the water closet.
Okay.
Le toilette.
I don't know. Max came up with a fun game and we were playing it. And I allowed it. I admit I'm not a very good poll maker. No, but you had a good conversational starter. Good work. And so...
Well, thanks for thinking of me, guys.
I don't remember a time where you had 2 different newspapers that are published in the same day, but I guess that did happen. Like you had one set of news you get in the morning and one set of news you get in the evening. That makes sense back then. And so Hector wants that other newspaper, and so he buys another one. And in doing so, he knocks down the coin that he stood up earlier. And the newspaper boy is so mad. I've been keeping that up all day. Until he realizes it's the one who stood it up, and then he's okay with it. And Hector is so happy because after knocking the coin down, he no longer has his powers. He loses his telepathy. And
it would be really funny to revisit the relationship between Helen and Hector, say 10, 15 years, and I'm hoping for a happily ever after. And then Hector gets all upset because they're having a little bit of a lover's quarrel over something. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Well, why don't you figure it out? Because I'm not a mind reader, Helen.
Not anymore. That sounds really cute. But this is one of those happy endings Twilight Zones we don't get too often.
True.
Well, happy for Hector anyway.
And Helen.
But Mr. Bagby's gonna have a time explaining to his superiors. I just gave away a vacation and the dead man. Hey, thank you very much to the dead man for supporting the channel and gifting me with a 99-cent super sticker. And I don't even have to look at it. Pretty sure it's a poop. If it's not a poop, then that's when he's gonna be. That's when I'm gonna wonder who body snatched him.
Do you have the Golgothan? It is a poop.
Do I have the what?
The Golgothan. The poop monster from Dogma.
Oh no, I don't. But if I did, I'd want the one from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Let me see. Let me see, Conker.
Or even not necessarily a poop, but certainly would assist in it. As if you had a Pizza the Hut. Oh wait, no, that was Around Jedi Masters. There we go.
I'm just gonna play a random bit.
Yo.
For 7 seconds. But I gotta unmute my screen.
Don't play any videos.
Right, don't play any videos.
Starfish, how about some scat, you little twat? Do you really think you'll survive in here?
Oh my god. Oh, let me start at the beginning.
Oh wow, we're gonna do the whole musical number.
No, we're not gonna do all of it. I just want the beginning.
Me.
You.
I am the great mighty Pooh.
You gotta go find that yourself now from that point on.
For your super sticker, we thank you.
Yes. That seems totally normal, says Peachy.
Yep.
It's a fun game. Conker's Bad Fur Day is great.
Yes.
Rare games.
I think that was like the third
Golgothan, yeah. Oh, he
the Golgothan. Yeah, the shit demon.
Clean all the tree sap off of your hands before you go petting the cats.
Makes sense.
Says Canadian Spider-Man. Yeah, some good. Oh, hey, V Shorts is here.
Hey, V Shorts.
Hello, my friend. Hell, even in my fairly average-sized city, we had a morning and evening paper. Back in the old days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the evening edition was pretty standard for newspapers, says Max Redstone. Yeah, back in the olden days. I'm curious when the evening edition sort of got retired. But you got freaked out when we were watching The Last Starfighter, and you were like, "That's not Bob Barker on the Price is Right." But there was an evening edition even of The Price is Right.
That was weird to me. I never knew about that. For me, I never got it in the evening. I only got it, if I stayed home from school because something happened.
Oh yeah, no, my late high school career was very, very successful, so I didn't miss an episode.
Yeah. No, it was mostly during the summer when I was around during the day. But here's the episode written by George Clayton Johnson. Welcome to Writing the Twilight Zone, starring Dick York, June Dayton, that's Helen, Dan Tobin, Cyril, Hayden Rourke.
Dr. Bellows.
Oh, okay, that's Sykes then, Mr. Sykes. And yeah, he clearly wasn't successful with his gambling.
Canadian Spider-Man. I hate to break it to you, but and he says in the chat, the olden days when they had evening papers. You mean the 80s? That was 40 years ago.
I was
yeah.
I think I heard
my nieces were over this weekend, and they're like, "How old are you, Uncle Scotty? Are you 70?" I was like, yes, I'm fucking 70. Yes.
Yeah, oh, that reminds me of when I was like 14 and I went over where my little brother was at elementary school, and all the little kids asked me if I was in college. So there. Oh no. So well, but in the 80s I was just a baby, and so I don't remember. Like, I think I heard of evening papers, so I've heard of it. I just don't know if I've ever experienced it.
Can you think of the millionaires that you had back then? Like, and I say millionaires as in people who got 2 crosswords a day.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if I did get access to 2 papers a day, I'd be reading the comics, the little comic strips in the newspapers. Probably how I learned to read, I'm not sure. So we need to read the closing narration. I forgot the closing narration. You've got to read it for me. Here it is
Sure.
in the chat.
One time in a million, a coin will land on its edge, but all it takes to knock it over is a vagrant breeze, a vibration, or a slight blow. Hector B. Poole, a human coin, on the edge for a brief time, in the Twilight Zone. My Rod Serling is getting growlier. I gotta watch that.
It's fine. Yeah, no, this George guy, he sure likes to talk. Like, if you go to the Twilight Zone companion, you can read more that I didn't read about him. And if you go to the Unlocking the Door, the Twilight Zone, Unlocking the Door to Television Classic by Gramps Jr. Martin, there's a whole thing where he talks about how this whole episode got started. And it's a whole thing about how, oh, my friends need a story, and so I'm submitting a story. He really knows how to go, tell you about how he wrote this teleplay. And he did.
Well,
He
Scott Cree is such a fan of science fiction that I'm not surprised that he would highlight such an author.
Yes. Well, but also the other book did too. I guess one thing here, it says that George Clayton Johnson received $220 for the story. And much more for writing the teleplay. So I don't know how much it didn't say how much you got for the teleplay. But basically, he was just wandering around criticizing other people's stories, and they were like, hey, why don't you write a story? And then he did. And so now we're ready.
It's only like $2,300.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that's just for the story by credit.
Oh, okay.
We don't. It doesn't say here how much the teleplay netted him. That would be more.
Yeah, I guess.
And Jedi Master 2022. And he's here. Oh my goodness.
Hooray!
You made it. How are you feeling? Are you okay?
Can I get a mic check, please?
Hello?
You sound great.
You sound good. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my new microphone, and I just put it in. I got a better one. I get rid of that other piece of crap that was just popping. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Like I said, it was just a quick medication fix, and I kind of felt because the stuff they were giving me too much of it, and it was causing me to crash. So it's all fixed. Got a little bit of soreness in my body, but the show must go on. I'm not staying long. I just wanted to pop in and say hi real quick, and I'm going to relax for the rest of the day and let you guys carry on. I just wanted to pop in, let you know I'm alive, well, and we can go on tonight at 8. No worries.
But you don't have to stay long or anything. But I think you'll like to know who makes a guest star appearance in this.
I know, Jonathan Harrison. I saw her on the thumbnail, and it's it's madness because I can't be here for it today. Because I saw his face and I go, ah.
I'm sorry.
Other than that, no, it's okay. I'm just going to lay down and relax. And so I've done everything. not to get off the subject, but everything's set up for tonight. And I got since I didn't do so much clips for the Spaceballs, there's going to be plenty of good stuff for this episode tonight. I just finished uploading a whole bunch of short little 7-second things. It's going to be a lot of fun. So y'all have a good one. I'm glad. Thank you for your concern and enjoy the rest of your Twilight Zone afternoon, everybody. I'll see you tonight.
Yeah,
right,
rest well, and we'll see you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, that was great to get hear from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Hello to you, Jedi Master 2022, Lost in Space. Yes. And you sound wicked pisser. What, is that good? So, it says Max Redstone.
Go, sure.
This girl needs an urban dictionary.
Uh-oh.
A slang phrase in New England area, perhaps most frequently something as being really awesome. So it means awesome. Okay. You sound awesome.
Wicked pisser.
Yeah, I've never heard it.
You never been to a Pats game? No, I'm kidding.
No.
Neither have I.
I'll say it. Blondie was a dumb newspaper cartoon. Yeah, it was never my favorite.
I didn't mind it. She was cute.
Oh, it was never really too funny.
Well,
it was always...
I'm trying to, maybe it's certainly no Far Side.
Garfield.
No Calvin and Hobbes. No Peanuts.
No, Garfield.
Well, Garfield's a one-trick pony.
No, it's not. Not
Yeah.
always. It's not always about lasagna on Mondays.
It is always about lasagna on Mondays. Oh no, John can't get laid. Normal's here.
See,
whatever. Shut up, Odie. There we go.
I like all that stuff.
I know. I'm starting to understand that my likes and dislikes when it comes to pop culture. It's like, so does Scott like it? Well, does everybody else hate it? Yes. Then Scott likes it. Does Scott like it? Does everybody else like it? Then Scott hates it.
Not always. Not always.
Not always.
Spidey says, hey, by the way, just so you know, my account has been suspended on X since they think I'm a bot. Appeal launched. That's weird.
You know what? The mental health break that you're taking from X for the time being may be good for you because, oh my dumpster fire of vile and terrible that place is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This might be a good vacation for you, Spidey. I'm sorry to hear that, but if you go live, I will take a note of that and try to retweet your or to actually not retweet, but actually tweet out your streams while you're indisposed. Max says he used to write jokes for a comic strip in the newspapers. That's
wicked.
Let's see. The glove cleaner says, now we get Rod dipping into one of my favorite movies for this next episode storyline. Great, the next episode. Let's bring that up before I forget and start talking about it.
Final Destination?
Yeah. Should be Final. Is it Final Destination? The glove cleaner?
I don't think with one of my favorite movies. Unless, I don't know, maybe.
You used to write stuff for Jeff McNally's Shoe. Wow.
Really?
I've
Nice.
never heard of that.
Shoe.
Shut up, Will. Shut up, Odie. Odie means well.
That was it. Didn't they make it? They made a Garfield movie, and I think Chris Pratt was the voice of Garfield, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me because he's too enthusiastic. But I think they make Odie talk, and I was like, blasphemy.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Odie doesn't need to talk. That I didn't know that. I didn't see that movie.
Neither
I think
did I.
my son watched some of it when he was getting his teeth cleaned at the dentist. So let's move on to the next episode.
No, let's talk about
22.
Garfield some more. We all love Garfield.
Garfield and Friends. We're ready to party.
Oh, right, I forgot.
Yeah. So 22 first aired on February 10th,
Oh, I was
1961.
hoping it was going
Yes.
to be on the 22nd.
Why? Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
It would be fun.
Why didn't they do that?
Well, I don't think that they had much choice.
Okay.
This was
Now I'm
February
kinda mad.
10th, so that means that the next week would be the 17th, which means the next
Yeah.
one is the 24th. In terms of programming, they're not going to rearrange the entire schedule just so.
I
Isn't that
guess.
cute?
Oh. Oh, man. Now I'm almost disappointed. But speaking of being disappointed, we're on our 4th video taped episode.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is disappointing. But they learned their lesson.
They did. They were like 6 of these, and now we're done. Uh-oh. My daughter needs me for something. Hold on just a moment.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, I'm glad that they sort of abandoned this experiment, which, as you'll recall, was a cost-cutting measure. But I'm glad that they abandoned it because I would be terrified, as we've mentioned, when this production detail arose at first. There's the potential for episodes of the Twilight Zone to be lost forever because they taped over them or some such nonsense. Although I guess at this point, like I'm my timeline of classic television is a little off, but in terms of the reruns of I Love Lucy, I'm wondering if the practice of doing reruns was prevalent in Hollywood more so than say the BBC. But it is an interesting idea. Anyway,
Yeah, that
if
is
you're
that
back
is
from
really
your
sad. Oh yeah, I was back.
if you're back,
That is
from
a
your
really
family,
sad.
I'm going to go visit with mine for a second, just to let them know I'm
Okay.
alive.
They're there. Of course, you must.
Yeah, well, and also I just didn't want anybody to be speculating as to what I was doing, so I wanted to let everybody know.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay, but then there's no game. Anyway, video inside film. Okay, so this is again. This is the 4th one that's on videotape, and it didn't really reduce cost all that much. It was written by Rod Serling. And so he adapted this from a short anecdote he found in the famous ghost stories, edited by Bennett Cerf from Random House, 1944. And so this happened. He had this book because his friend Bennett Cerf, president of Random House, sent him some books, including Dr. Seuss. I guess, okay, here's some Dr. Seuss for you, Rod Serling. But also, among those books were an anthology of ghost stories. And one of them was this book, Famous Ghost Stories by Bennett Cerf, or edited by Bennett Cerf. And so this information comes from Twilight Zone, Unlocking the Door to a Television Classic. And I'll talk more about this particular original story after we talk about how it was retold in the Twilight Zone. And so this episode was directed by Jack Smite. And for our cast, we have Liz Powell, played by Barbara Nichols. And the Doctor, of course, as we mentioned with Jedi Master, the Doctor's played by Jonathan Harris. So all through my notes, I call him Dr. Smith, even though he's not Dr. Smith yet. And then the nurse and stewardess, the creepy lady, is played by Arlene Sachs. Beautiful, creepy lady. Barney is played by Fred Wayne with 2 D's. Night duty nurse is played by Norma Connolly. And the day duty nurse is played by Mary Adams. And the ticket clerk is played by Wesley Lau, and the other ticket clerk is played by Joe Sargent. The PA voiceover is Jay Overholtz, and the double for sax is Carol Kahn. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's interesting. They're crediting the double. I think that's cool. So let's see what the chat's saying here. I think I missed a few. And yes, we know. Jedi Master is like Glinda the Good Witch. Appears briefly and then gone. Yeah. Yeah, he had to take care of some things, and I'm glad to hear that everything's taken care of. And now he needs to rest. Now we get Rod dipping into one of my favorite movies for the next episode storyline. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's see what that favorite movie is. I'm sure the answer's in the chat by now. Maritime Canada, Atlantic Canada says that too. So, Spidey says to Max Redstone. All right. And hello to Rob Wright from Gen X Pop Culture channel. Hello. And so, Max says they're doing you a favor to Spidey about his count being suspended. Odie talking blasphemy. Says Max, yeah, that's not right. Odie doesn't talk. He uses sign language and barking. Body language. Clearly, there's quite a few fans of Dead of Night here. No, I haven't. Oh, Dead of Night. That's his favorite movie. Dead of Night. Me too. Filmed so much cleaner and better than video. Oh, these ghost stories came just before. There we go. Dead of Night. Then we got our answer. Not Final Destination. So, let's get started with the slides here and see what's going on. We've got a lady laying in bed. She's sleeping on her back under a large lamp, and she's sleeping with the dolly. It's a creepy clown dolly, as we see later. And then we also see the stuffed wild cat that she always keeps by her. It's always around her. So I guess, she really likes her stuffies. Not Final Destination. Yes, the answer is Dead of Night. So I'm going to see if I can find that movie and watch it someday. And she reaches over for some water. She breaks the glass. And so everything it all seems very creepy, and it does feel like a dream, really. She gets out of bed, she rubs her face, she's sweating. She steps out into the hallway and she sees a nurse taking an elevator. And based on what we see she's on the 3rd floor and she's going down to the basement. She's rubbing her arms, and so it must be pretty cold down there. And we see why it's cold. It's being kept cold because there's down there we see there's a morgue. And from 1945, not 1977 or whatever that was. Thank you, the glove cleaner. And she's found the morgue and the nurse opens the door. And I do believe this. It didn't come up in my notes, but this matte painting of the morgue is really cool. It looks like it goes on for a very long time. And makes it creepier. Oh, and I wanted to have the Twilight Zone here because let me grab the episode. There's sound here. Just give me a second and let me play a video so nobody thinks so you guys don't have too much dead air here, and mute the sound that you're hearing. Let's play Oh.
Computer, access the new keepsake magic ornament from Hallmark.
Accessing USS Enterprise, a collectible ornament accurately representing the Galaxy-class starship. Ornament carries Earth date 1993 and illuminates in a realistic manner.
The new Starship Enterprise ornament, please.
Replications are copies. Only Hallmark carries authentic keepsake ornament.
Suggest solution.
Call 1-800-HALLMARK for store nearest you.
All right, sorry about that. I had to step away for a second. So, but also, season 2, where is it? 22. And so the only clip I wanted for this episode, I didn't have time to get clips. Oops. But I did get a timestamp. And so we're going to show you the only clip I need for this episode. And here it is.
Room for one more, honey.
It's really difficult to describe this episode because it's a lot of ambiance and what you actually feel while you're watching it rather than just describing her dropping the glass, following the nurse, finding the morgue, and being just utterly terrified. It's the feeling of dread and impending doom and the oncoming of your own death and the promise that you're going to visit the morgue and stay there in the matte painting of the morgue forever.
Quite a striking nurse. Rob writes Gen X pop culture.
Yes, she is.
Says, okay, back to work.
Back to work with
Have
you.
a great day, everyone. You as well.
He says this episode was creepy but good. Yeah, she is super creepy. And so, of course, this nurse is kind of like the Grim Reaper here saying, hey, this is where you're going to be soon. And this is her premonition. This is Liz's premonition. Room for one more, honey. Yeah. So I'm having a good day, just wrapping up lunch. Yep. And Max Runstone also must be off, but I have dropped a lot. And hopefully I will see you all sooner than later. You've been wonderful. Thank you, Max, for hanging. I hope to see you tomorrow. You have some time. Yeah, anybody who is a member, we have a membership stream tomorrow at 11 Central.
Oh, right.
So that's going to be fun. And yeah. Oh, Scotty, you missed it?
I'll have to put the calendar. Actually, I haven't updated my calendar for July yet. And we haven't done. Oh, I'm
Am I breaking up?
I am.
Okay. Somebody's breaking up. So I was wondering who it was. But I did want to tell you, even if you are breaking up, if you can hear me, the movie was Dead of Night.
Oh, well, and it is based on another story as well.
Mm-hmm. Nurses are creepy by default, says Creeklers. Great sense of atmosphere here. Yeah, this whole episode is atmosphere. Sorry.
Not in the Twilight Zone. Or sorry, not Hello Nurse from Animaniacs. She wasn't creepy.
Well, that's true. Hello Nurse. Yeah, not all nurses are creepy. But she is, and Miss Ratchet.
Oh, yeah. No, I forgot about Nurse Ratchet.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So part of this story came from that storybook that I talked about already. But the other part of the story came from Mrs. Peter D. Matthews of Needham, Massachusetts. She wrote to Serling on July 26th. Oh.
Jill, are you muted or am I breaking?
No. I was talking. I was talking about. Well, I was in the middle of reading, and I
Well,
was
then I'll be
wondering why you were interrupting. I didn't understand. So anyway, he wrote to Serling on July 26th. 2 clippings from the July 25th issue of the Boston Sunday Herald. And so the news stories talked about a construction worker who days before a deadly accident shook hands with his fellow workers and told them he would be dead before Wednesday. And it was true. A 120-foot crane smashed down on Decantor Street in East Boston, killing 3 men, including the man who predicted his death.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Those premonitions are terrifying.
They are, yeah, especially when they come true like that. And we're ready for our opening narration now. Let's see. I think I read them both last time, didn't I?
No, I did the closing.
You did the closing? Okay,
Yep.
so do the opening this time.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. This is Miss Liz Powell. She is a professional dancer, and she's in the hospital as a result of overwork and nervous fatigue. And at this moment, we have just finished walking with her in a nightmare. In a moment, she'll wake up and will remain at her side. The problem here is that both Miss Powell and you will reach a point where it might be difficult to decide which is reality and which is nightmare. A problem uncommon, perhaps, but rather peculiar to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. So we get started here. It's visiting hours. And so Liz's agent comes to see her. It's Barney. And she wonders where he's been. It's been a while. He's left her here, I guess. 6 days? Yeah, 6 days. 6 days he hasn't been here. But he's finally made it. And she asks him why he hasn't been here sooner. He explains hospitals depress him, and tells him to consider what it's like for her to have been here. Pretty soon, you feel like you're lying on a glass slide, and all these creeps are looking at you through a microscope. And the only time the sun shines is when it's visiting hours. And Barney's like, gee, kitten, what a mind you've got. Well, whatever. And she's stressed out. She's stressed out about work. And so he's like, I know what to do. I'll bring you a picture of you working. So she's disappointed that he never came around sooner. And she finally decided that he left her behind this entire time, and that he thinks she's crazy or something. So because she's having these dreams, and she's sure that they're happening. She's sure they're real. They're real to her. But she's asking Barney not to write her off. But he doesn't have a whole lot of real empathy, but he does like her. Oh, and then the doctor freaks me out because I'm like, hey, it's Jonathan Harris. I was excited.
I thought you would be. Oh, delightful. Don't forget that they're all just dreams. Dreams, my poor girl.
Yeah, he kind of reads it like a vampire, like he's trying to be in a creepy haunted house.
Well, and I know that there are Jonathan Harris fans, but I've always considered him to be a bit of a ham.
I like Hammy sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And again,
so is Riker. I mean,
Okay, I didn't kick your grandma. Mm-hmm. Like I just think he's his delivery and style. Maybe it's just because I can't disassociate him from Dr. Smith.
And that was his problem his whole life, is being typecast, and that's why he went into over voice acting, like in cartoons and stuff.
Makes sense. Hey, I'm glad that he still had a successful career, and yeah, it's unfortunate about the profit sharing of the 1960s television landscape. Hey, Herc's here. Hey, Herc. What's up, Flyboy?
Yeah. I like how we do that backwards. Even when we see his previous roles, we're like, hey, it's Dr. Smith. Well, in this case, he is a doctor. A real doctor.
Oh, that's true too.
In this one too, yeah.
No name though,
I mean,
just the doctor.
Yeah, so he's Dr. Smith.
Exactly.
What else are we gonna call him?
I don't know.
Who did you say was here? I missed it.
Oh, Herc 130.
Herc 130, hello. Also, Canadian Spider-Man says, hey, chat, if you'd like an easy and free way to support Anti-Derivative Jill, then please consider liking this stream and subscribing to this channel. If you do subscribe, you're going to be my 1,350th subscriber. So I'm going to be reaching that number the next time I get a new subscriber. And Greek Letters says, even though we're not finished at all. Okay, show's over, folks. Tune in next week for a special live stream where we're going to discover just how creepy a nurse can be in the Twilight Zone. And in the real world, too. PG says, I was told once that Sting, the older he got, looked more and more like Jonathan Harris. Now, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh. And also, this doctor is really creeping on her relentlessly. So it's like, okay. You make me wish I were a young intern or something. I forget.
He does get a little creepy too, yeah, especially near the end.
Yeah, near the end he says something too, like, why don't you wink at me sometime?
Well, yeah, exactly. I can't wait to come and sit in Pervert's Row and lie on the stage and put a dollar bill in my mouth. Oh, this is a delightful dance.
Well, that is kind of the role she's playing in this too. Like, she's a dancer.
Stripper.
Dancer.
Yeah,
I know also. You're right. She is also a stripper. But she prefers to be called a dancer. And
they all do.
That's apparently a real job that this woman had. So she's...
Well, and Rod Serling does say, profession, dancer. So
Professional dancer. And Nichols played a stripper before in a 2-part pilot for The Untouchables.
Ooh.
And she's a Long Island girl. Well, you can tell her accent is... She's New York. And she began her trip to stardom by winning a beauty contest at Woodrow Wilson High School in Jamaica, New York. And then she was in a chorus line at the Latin Quarter. She says that she was a model, a calendar girl, and a dancer.
I love my little calendar girl. Thanks, Neil Cicada.
She was also Miss Lowe's Paradise, Miss Long Island Duckling, and Miss Lowe's Valencia. Then she also played a stripper in the 1952 revival of Pal Joey for Richard Ragers. I don't know any of this stuff.
We can't really feel too bad about Jonathan Harris then, can we? I was typecast as an overbearing doctor. Oh, yeah, sister. I was typecast as a stripper.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But I mean, she played into it.
Oh, she's really good at it. The only thing that she didn't do as a stripper is, well, the obvious.
Well, it's a Twilight Zone episode.
It is, where all the strippers keep their clothes on.
Yes. Well, especially when they're in the hospital being a patient and not at work.
Yes.
So it's not like she's going to go to work. I mean, she's going to go to work and strip, but she's not going to go to the hospital and strip unless they need her to get into one of those hospital gowns. Liz is rejecting the idea that she's just having a nightmare. This is real to her. And they go over they repeat this nightmare 3 times this episode. At the beginning, verbally here, They talk about the glass falling and hearing footsteps and following the nurse. And she says, they are the footsteps of a nurse. I hear them. They come down the corridor and stop outside my door. I jump out of bed. I open the door, and I see this nurse going into an elevator. I follow her. The elevator goes down to the basement floor. Down the end of the hall, there's a room, room 22. It's the hospital morgue. And then of course, we get the line again. Here, let's do it again. It's the best part of the episode, so let's do it.
Room for one more, honey.
I love that scream. She does such a great scream.
True.
Like she's a dancer and a screamer.
Well,
Canadian Spider-Man.
She's a what? Well, and if you want to, I guess we will see her again, but do you recognize her? Or should I not be so coy?
I recognize her. We'll see her again.
All right. I'll hold
Yeah,
off.
just tell me.
To Pring.
What?
It's Spock's wife.
I couldn't tell with all the blonde hair and no ears.
No, not Liz, the nurse.
Oh, of course. Okay. No wonder she... Okay, of course she is. Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed.
Why?
How did I not see that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Out of
should have known
context.
that. No, something about her was like I knew her, but I couldn't do it. Man.
I don't know, something to do with attractive features, striking and beautiful women. And I'm assuming it's the same way for men when you're a chick, when you're a lady and you're like, oh, he's a handsome fella. It's like there is something. There we go. Here's Dracula.
I just want to see her.
Yeah.
Since I don't have the slides on right now.
Room for one more, honey.
And I would have
Nice.
stars.
Yes.
But there is something like when you do see someone who is particularly attractive to you, there is something of a familiarity that goes with it. You look like someone. Or
but
maybe
she
that's
has the
the line
eyebrows
of
and
the
everything, and it didn't hit me. I should.
I know.
Seen it.
Well, and
failed.
she is 6 years younger. Don't forget,
Stop giving me excuses.
People in the 1960s suffered from clean living. They aged gracefully.
After a time, you may find that having is not so pleasing a thing after all as wanting. It is not logical, but it is often true.
Room for one more, honey. See, that's T'Pring asking Spock to come and be a throuple.
Oh, whoa! What if she did that?
Yeah.
Would he have gone for it?
It's not logical.
No, it isn't. She's also in Sweet Smell of Success. It says,
oh, nice.
Thank you, the glove cleaner. And
Greek letters says,
but the glove cleaner is talking about Barbara Nichols.
Oh, Babs.
Yeah. So we can go back to her. She's in every scene in this episode, almost. Wait, which chat are you trying to read? Are you able to click on chats?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Greek letters in the chat says, okay, Jill, no more room for one more, honey, or I'm going to have nightmares, or maybe wet dreams, or a combination of the two.
I'm going to do it two more times because it happens 2 more times in this episode. So
it's going to lean towards the latter when we get to see her as the stewardess.
Oh, Nimoy's voice is like butter.
Yes.
That's why In Search Of was so great. Yes. Agreed.
Did you ever watch In Search Of?
No. But what is...
It was a good show.
Oh, that's like a TV show. Okay.
Yeah, from
Oh, yeah, I've heard
the
about it.
70s. Yeah, it
Oh.
looked like it was filmed through gauze, and I'm assuming that was to try and make it look spookier. But yes, it did have Leonard Nimoy in his 70s era. He looked like he
I've
was
only
straight out
seen-
of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Cool. Yeah, I think
Sometimes
I've
he had
seen
a
clips
mustache.
of it.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this thing.
That's going to be the name of my band.
What?
Leonard Nimoy's mustache.
So this nightmare's been happening to her for 6 nights in a row. Of course, she doesn't think it's a nightmare. The doctor just says she's overworked and fatigued, and he continues to say the nightmare like this is normal for someone experiencing delusion brought on by being overworked, essentially. And then he says, "Well, Mrs. Powell, let's see what this evening brings." Well, I mean, he's trying to be creepy too. He was like, "I'm not in on this creepy stuff. Why does just this nurse get creepy?" Rick 130 says, "I aged like fine cheese. Very Gouda."
Very Gouda.
And PG says, "In Search Of was great fun, even though I didn't believe a lot of that stuff. Watched anyway. I also aged like fine cheese. Roquefort, moldy and sour." Oh no, Greek letters. You're better cheese than that.
Well, considering my sense of humor, I think that I'm blue cheese. Also,
I don't like
mottled and stinky.
So Barney has to leave, but he's like, "Do what the doctor says," and he's about to say that he's glad she's feeling better, but since that obviously isn't the case, he says he's glad she's looking better, and tries to kiss her, but she balks at him and moves away. You couldn't boost morale if it weighed 1/4 of a pound and you had a Derek.
Yeah.
That's your comeback. Yeah.
Well, no, it makes sense.
It does. It's just, I'm not. Yeah. It's like, okay. Panning for oil here. Drilling for oil.
Panning for gold.
Panning for gold. Drilling for oil.
Drilling for oil.
The
Dancing
oil
for
is
nickels.
the morale. I don't know. It's just an old timey kind of thing. Liz is just frustrated with the doctor and the agent, so she also gets a bit snarky because the doctor's saying we hope and we feel, and so she's like, "Oh, I'm glad we feel that way."
So I'm confused.
Yes. What are you confused about?
I know that she's in the hospital because of overwork and exhaustion, but is that like the only time I ever hear about people going to the hospital for exhaustion is when it's like celebrities who are trying to vaguely cover up their rehab. Do you know anybody who's ever actually and I'm not saying like heat exhaustion, but just in terms of, is it because she's had a mental break? Is this a hospital? Like, is this a mental hospital or is this a medical? I guess mental hospitals are medical hospitals, but hey, PG, I'm picking up what you're throwing down. I'm confused. Scotty's natural state. Not true. I'm sharp as a tack. I'm on the trolley. I'm digging for gold, panning for oil.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking, and I was saying I also agree that it's not clear why she's there. It's possible she had a panic attack, but
I guess
it's not explained.
Even with a panic attack, it's like usually you go to the hospital because you're having a panic attack, and then you're like, "Oh, I can't breathe. I'm having heart palpitations. I think I'm having a heart attack," kind of thing. And then it's like, oh, okay. So I guess that's why she would have been checked in. And it's like, oh, if it persists, I guess. But I don't understand the medical procedures of the early 1960s.
Me neither. I definitely don't know why she's there. So Scotty's right to be confused at this part. Greek letters Larson says a Greek celebrity was hospitalized for exhaustion, but in reality, she had stuck an object in her
You can say
that
vibrating.
she couldn't get out.
You know, that's the thing, is that when I'm checking baggage as it passes through the airport, we're never supposed to say your dildo. We're just supposed to say the dildo, just because we don't want to connotate anybody's actual ownership of the phallus. So
Wait, I didn't know you worked at an airplane place?
No, I'm actually
an
just
airline?
quoting from Fight Club.
Oh.
You ever seen it? Never mind.
Yes.
Never mind. You know what? We're not supposed to talk about it.
Yes, I have seen Fight Club, but I guess I just didn't remember that scene.
It's very one-off. It's just a throwaway line, but I don't know.
Well, that's the problem
vibrating.
with it, is that there's not a lot of settings in Fight Club and there's a lot of talking, but I do love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm.
It is the earliest representation of modern sensibilities' version of toxic masculinity.
Mhm.
And the undermining of the male experience to a certain extent. It's got so many themes going on there. What happens when you can buy everything out of a catalog?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they bring in the night nurse and they say, is this the nurse that you see in your dreams? And no, it's not. That is not Jabring. So
Like what a demeaning thing, and especially I guess like she is a dancer. She is a dancer of the pole. My God, he does have a Dracula haircut. Anyway, so like, do they have to bring in every nurse and be like, "Is this the nurse?"
they only
Is
have
this
2
the
nurses
woman you
apparently.
saw?
So
Yeah,
so
exactly.
this was the only choice. The other one's the day nurse. This is the night nurse. And so he gives her a suggestion this time. Don't reach for the glass this time and see what happens. See if you can break the cycle of this nightmare.
So is she lucid dreaming? Anyway,
maybe that's what he's trying to get her to do.
but it's like, this is kind of like it is a premonition. It is attempting to warn her of a tragedy in the future.
Yes.
And so, maybe I shouldn't be questioning the logic of the dream in the Twilight Zone.
No, you can if you want to. It's part of the fun.
Oh, my dear boy, don't you understand? These are all just figments of your imagination.
You know, I used to have a dolly that was like a clown when I was 2.
Named Chucky?
No.
Did it want to play?
His name was Johnny Newbaker.
Who named Johnny Newbaker?
I did.
Why Newbaker? I'm okay with Johnny, but just who?
I asked my mom.
Newbaker?
She said she doesn't know.
Huh.
I was a baby, so I have no idea.
Do you know how to spell Johnny Newbaker? Like, obviously Johnny. I'll just put Jonathan. But how do you spell Newbaker?
I don't, probably New and then Baker. Like, I was 2.
Really?
I don't think I was spelling it.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to spell it with a U. So N-E-U.
You can spell it however you want.
A-K. No, Johnny Newbaker is going to be the subject of my forthcoming coloring book. Johnny Newbaker is the name of the head penguin.
Yeah. It was just like one of those little it was those little dolls that has little buttons on it that you button and unbutton, and flaps that you open and close. So like for motor skills, learning motor skills and things like tying shoes and stuff. But it was a lot better than this doll. Anyway, I don't have it anymore.
Pete G says, "Stop admitting these things." Exactly. We must protect the
identity. I was 2.
of Jonathan Newbaker. He must be allowed his privacy to clown. Why can't he clown in peace? Well, because that's not really a profession that you do by yourself, Scott.
At least I'm not sleeping with dolls like this now. Okay, so
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of an infantilization of Liz here. But I guess it does sort of signify her mental breakdown, and it does show her anxiety coming back later on.
Right. She needs some kind of external, emotional support, and she's not getting it from people, so she's seeking it out in inanimate objects.
All she sees people as is a money-making opportunity when she shakes her groove thing.
Yeah, but she's not supposed to reach for the glass, so instead she tries to reach for the cigarettes, but as she tries to get the lighter, she ends up breaking the glass anyway.
Yes.
And so we do it all over again, and Greek Letters is just going to have to get over it. Okay, so what do you want to do while we wait for this to happen?
I wonder how old this woman was in 1961.
I don't know. I can find out.
Oh, so can I.
Oh,
she was born in 1928. So she's 33.
33. And she won't go anywhere without her stuffed leopard.
Right, but she also, like, and again, I
have stuffed animals too, but I just sit them on the shelf.
Really? Well, yeah, no, that makes sense. As opposed to, like, some people have like throw pillows. They have like a pile of stuffed animals on their bed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's that's something you should get rid of if you're, I don't know, 45.
Well, no.
But like on a shelf.
On a shelf, they're no different. Yeah, you don't sleep with your Joker.
No. Oh, that brings me back to my favorite part of the show. Don't forget to buy me a She-Hulk so I don't have to sleep alone.
Okay, so Greek Letters. I'm sorry.
For what?
We're doing it again in the episode. It's not like I'm doing this overly. This is how many times the episode does it.
Room for one more, honey.
Oh my God.
Amazing scream every time.
It is an amazing scream, and it's a sultry invitation to death.
Mm-hmm.
She would have been a great vampira.
And so once again, for the 7th night in a row, she screams and runs away because of the creepy nurse in the morgue. So I realized the important question that Rod Serling wants us to think about is, it's not clear how real this is. Is it real like Liz says it is? Is it a nightmare like Dr. Smith says it is? Or is it something in between? Is she sleepwalking?
Well, and he does sort of investigate. He's she describes the same dream every night. It's so preposterous. She gets led down the corridor and then she goes down to the basement floor and she knows that it's the morgue, but she's never been there before. I just don't understand how exactly she knows that it's room 22.
Exactly. And that's the creepy part, is that she knows it's room 22, which would make sense if she was sleepwalking and could read it.
Well, and also, did she have this dream before she got to the hospital?
That would be even freakier.
Right.
Because that would be a catalyst for sending her to the hospital. You had a crazy dream about being in a hospital? We better take you to the hospital.
Well, yeah, but that's also like the end of Halloween 2. Have you ever seen Halloween 2?
Tell me.
Well, the entire movie takes place in a hospital. And then at the end of the movie, Laurie is like, they defeat Michael Myers. Spoilers.
Yeah,
well,
I don't
at
mind.
least for the end of that movie.
It's a horror movie. I don't care. Keep going.
Then an ambulance shows up and takes Laurie away, assumingly to a different hospital. It's like, oh, I'm sorry about all the terrible things that happened at this hospital. We should take you to a different one that you haven't destroyed. And so that's the thing. It's like, oh, I'm having these terrible dreams about I'm in the morgue in the hospital. Well, I know where we should go.
Hospital.
Yeah.
Anyway, Barbara Nichols says, I'm gonna quote something she said here about the episode. I told Mr. Serling I'm always a comedian. I told him I wanted to do some dramatic roles, so he wrote the show for me. I'm happy as a clam. And because the episode was taped, Barbara Nichols was able to view the scene minutes later on a tape playback. That was when I scared myself. There I was in bed in a hospital nightgown, screaming my head off. I had to scream real loud. So I just screamed. I'm not a method actor. I didn't practice. I guess a method actor would have gone off in a corner to cogitate or maybe run around the building a few times. Me? I just screamed. Oops. Oh no. I hate when that happens.
Oh, what happened?
I lost my spot.
Oh no.
Yeah. Which is terrible because this episode is so repetitive. Where am I? I don't know. I think we're past this. Okay, we're before that.
Oh yeah, no, because the last time that she goes through it, she gets the this is the last time because it's all wibbly wobbly and gets injected and such.
Okay. Yeah, that's where we are. Dr. Smith and another nurse are injecting her with something, and he has a nurse stay with her.
Well, then the night nurse comes up and says, I think that she'll sleep now, and then he realizes that she knows what room 22 is, even though she shouldn't. And then I think, we've already seen this part. I think after see what's going on in the morgue, see if there's any Vulcan brides kicking.
And but even though, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good.
Even though he does recognize that it's strange that she knows about room 22, it doesn't change his mind that Liz was only dreaming.
Do you think she has The Shining?
I don't know.
She might have The Shining.
Maybe. Anything's possible in the Twilight Zone. That's where we were.
There it is. See? Lovely.
Mm-hmm. So she's packing to actually finally leave the hospital. And Barney's waiting for her. She's like, is there another way? I want to avoid this guy. And the nurse says that he's devoted, and Liz says, oh, he's devoted to 10% commission and 12 hours sleep every night. And so the doctor assures her that what she suffered was really just dreams caused by her nerves. And then, of course, he's excited to perv on her whenever she performs next time he sees her. And she is on her way to her job in Miami. Sometime later, there's some time lapse here.
So she works in Miami. Is this like the best hospital in the nation for dealing with people with exhaustion? Is that like she's like, if you analyze what she's like, she doesn't like her manager, who apparently got her this this hospital. And it's like, you haven't been to see me in 6 days. It's like, yeah, I'm in Florida. I'm in Miami. I don't even know where this is supposed to take place. She seems ungrateful.
It's true. The settings are off, but it's nowhere said that Barney put her in the hospital. Although, even though he's her agent, he gets her work. So he got her the job in Miami.
Oh, that makes more sense.
But I don't know if he's like a secretary where he does personal things for her or not. I mean, I'm not sure. He calls her kitten a lot. I don't really know. Their relationship is ambiguous.
Well, as a manager,
if he's actually done anything for her personally,
and as a like a talent agent, essentially manager and agent, to try and get her work. I guess she would travel all over the place. So it does make sense. I'm just being, I'm not putting the pieces together properly.
I'm not. I don't know if an agent will do stuff like that. I'm not in show business. I didn't know
Well,
if
this is
they
kind
act
of
like
show business.
secretaries. Do agents act like secretaries? I don't know.
Sometimes.
I guess it depends. Hold on, let me see.
You're gonna.
There's.
Yeah, go
I'm
to
checking the chat.
LinkedIn. There we go.
No, wait. Oh no. I'm not gonna sit here and learn all about the agents' roles. Break the glass, Jill. I bet Scotty
Break.
sleeps with the She-Hulk. Well, he would if he had one.
I probably wouldn't sleep with it, guys.
No, I know. It'd be on his bedside table.
Yeah. Well, no, it would probably be on the shelf next to the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Scotty sleeps with the fishes. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't. I haven't yet.
That's good. That's good. You hope you can swim. So.
I can swim, but I can't float.
Yeah. Okay. That's not good. You should learn how to float.
Learn how to float? What books?
I don't know. You just. It's a nice way to swim.
I guess.
So there's a stranger who's staring at her. She says, "Did anyone ever tell you you have eyes like a tarantula?" She has very good comebacks to people that she doesn't want interaction from.
See, I think she keeps people at arm's length. I think that
she does.
Part of this exhaustion and isolation. I think that it's I think it's of her own doing. You got to be as tough as a boiled owl to make it in this business, I tell you.
Yeah, that's probably true. Anyway, the important part here, well, I mean, that's kind of interesting, but the important part here is that she's supposed to get on Flight 22. That's the number we remember. And so that's the cue for everybody to be quite nervous. And then everything starts happening that happens in her nightmare. She starts hearing the loud ticking clock. And she bumps into someone and smashes their vase that they're just carrying around freehand.
Yeah. That's like anytime there's a chase scene, there's always two guys carrying a plate glass.
or there's a fruit stand.
Something like that. Yeah. But
both.
why? I don't know. Like, again, I don't know anything about the airports at the time. I would always just think that it would be so much easier if it was just like a waitress carrying a glass on a tray or something and it bumps into.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
It would make more sense, but this is kind of ridiculous because she bumps into the lady and then the vase drops so that we as the audience know about the crash and something's going to happen. We're going to 22. That's not good. But the woman who was carrying the vase just sort of looks at her and then shrugs, turns around and walks away. And it's like, I fulfilled my duty in the story. I'll see you later.
Yeah, she didn't even act like she was upset. Like I was expecting her to say, "Oh, the nerve! Oh my god!" or something. But there was no reaction whatsoever to the lady who lost the vase. Like she didn't pack it away in her suitcase or anything. She was just carrying it around. Maybe it was just an unwanted gift, and she's like, "Oh, thanks." It kind of did me a favor.
Those were my father's ashes.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess since she didn't talk, she didn't get paid much. So
that makes sense.
So she was like, I'm not going to work harder than I have to here. So they're saying, "Hey, little miss, you're going to miss your flight." And so she starts walking towards the plane. She hands her ticket over. And who does she find?
T'Pring.
T'Pring, yeah. There she is. And, well, oh, I didn't get the timestamp for this one, but I bet I could find it.
She's beautiful, Mr. Spock. Who is she? T'Pring is my wife.
Room for one more, honey.
I always gotta get the scream.
Running away. And also, I forgot to mention when she knocked that poor woman's father's ashes onto the ground, breaking the vase. She does clutch at her little Hobbs, her little tiger stuffy.
I think it's a leopard.
It's a leopard? Whatever. Maybe it'll change its spots into stripes.
And so, of course, she runs away from the plane, and she makes it all the way down the tarmac, and everyone's concerned with her freaking out until they watch the plane take off.
Yeah.
And it just seems to spontaneously combust.
Yes.
It explodes. Exploded.
Exploded. Yes, I was curious as to what exactly I was looking at here until it did explode.
Yes. Yes, so this proves her premonition correct. The nightmares she's been having were her somewhat predicting the future of her oncoming demise, and as such, in thus scaring her, she was able to save herself. But not all the other people who were on Flight 22, including the attendant, the flight nurse, unless that flight nurse was something else. Or,
oh, no.
Some kind of supernatural being.
She's like the Grim Reaper of the Twilight Zone?
Maybe. I mean, they don't name her as Death, but we've had Death before on the Twilight Zone, so maybe this is an unnamed Death. We just didn't name her.
T'Pring. Her name is T'Pring.
Her name is T'Pring. A lot of people died on this Doom flight, but not Liz. So I can't really call this one a happy ending because all these people died that we don't know. But Liz survived.
And she was the only one who was destined for death. Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, thanks
I guess
to her
everybody
psychic
is.
dream. Yeah.
Everybody's destined for death.
Yeah,
there is no joy in life. Death is the reward.
This is the accident. And everyone is horrified by the explosion. And we get the closing narration, which I'll read. Miss Elizabeth Powell, professional dancer, hospital diagnosis, acute anxiety brought on by overwork and fatigue. Prognosis: with rest and care, she'll probably recover. But the cure to some nightmares is not to be found in known medical journals. You look for it under Potions for Bad Dreams, to be found in the Twilight Zone. And, yeah, we never know exactly what gives her this dream that tells her oncoming death, but it is like that newspaper clipping. Nobody knows how that man knew he was going to die on a Wednesday.
Well, yeah, but this is like, I tweeted this a little while ago. It's like, what is the logic to this story? And then I put a GIF of Rod Serling. It's the Twilight Zone. So you don't necessarily like, that's the beauty of the Twilight Zone. It is mundanity in real life with just a little bit of a twist.
Yes. Well, and there's also a little bit more in the Mark Scott Creed book that I didn't read before about the original story. So it was adapted from the famous ghost stories edited by Bennett Cerf, Random House, 1944. So in the original, an attractive New York girl visits the Carolina plantation of some distant relatives on 2 successive nights. Just as she is getting into bed, she looks out the window and sees a magnificent old coach drawn by 4 coal-black horses pulled up outside. The coachman, a ghastly-looking fellow, jumps off the coach, points a finger at her, and says, "There is room for one more." This so unnerves the girl that she packs her bags and heads back to New York, where she goes to see a doctor. The doctor dismisses the entire thing as a hallucination, but just as she is about to board the elevator to return to the ground floor of the medical building, she hears a familiar voice saying, "There is room for one more." The elevator operator is the same man as the coachman. The girl screams and draws back. The cables on the elevator break, and all the passengers plummet to their deaths. So that's the
original
story this was based on. Yeah, that's the original
Nice.
story. It's a very simple story, so this maybe isn't the best Twilight Zone episode, but it's not bad either. And before I read the chat, I want to read for you the previews for next week's story.
Yeah.
Tune in next week for you'll find each of your names on the passenger manifest of this jet aircraft that flies from London to New York. You'll sit in these seats and you'll go through an experience. Unique beyond words, intense beyond anything I believe you've ever seen. You'll be departing next week at about the same time in a vehicle we call the Odyssey of Flight 33. But be prepared for a stop midway in the Twilight Zone.
Delightful.
And then there's one more story we'll talk about next week. I've got about 18 seconds to tell you that next week, Mr. Burgess Meredith returns to the Twilight Zone as Mr. Dingle the Strong. I got really excited, sorry.
No, it's cool.
He plays the role of an incredible little man who gives the strength of about 500 men and comes out of it as a kind of 20th century Hercules and Samson, all rolled into one. It's designed to send you right from your seat. It's designed to send you right from your set into a fast bowl of spinach. The timer goes off and Serling crushes it. It's catching. And you know what? I usually don't get the video for these promos, these previews, but for this one, I think you need to see the preview. Why is he crushing a bowl of spinach? I don't understand what it's describing here. Hold on. I need to
Probably has something to
see
do with
the preview.
Rickles.
It's very confusing. I need to know what this is. I'm sorry, guys. I've got to find this.
Sure.
Preview, Serling. I just want to know what he crushes exactly. Is this easy to find? Oh, yeah, here it is.
And now, Mr. Serling.
Okay, I know you can't see it. Here it is. Now you can see it. And now I can play it. But I only want the end. I want the whole thing.
20th century Hercules and Samson all rolled into one. It's designed to send you right from your set into a fast bowl of spinach. It's catching.
Oh. Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's going to be about a guy who gets super strong, but he can't control it?
I guess so, yeah. Mr. Dingle the Strong. Now that explains it a lot better than, okay. The timer goes off and Serling crushes it. It being the timer. Okay, now I get it. You combusted like a spinal trap drummer. Yeah. The glove cleaner says I spontaneously combusted just yesterday.
It was pretty hot.
PG says that she ran away and screamed because she saw the baggage fees.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me see what else is here. Eating maple bacon with jalapeno Gouda cheese. Wow. Okay.
Delish.
That does sound good. Break the glass. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Died fairly young. Oh, did she? I bet Scotty sleeps. Oh, yeah.
We already
read
covered
that
this.
one.
Never.
No, she's on the shelf if he ever gets her.
Yeah.
So we've established this. You'd be an excellent scuba diver, Scotty. You don't need to float, just sink and swim.
Well, then I'll have to give it a go.
Yeah. Tough as a boiled owl. Quote Scotty R37. I'm using that and crediting you.
It's yours.
Hey folks, just a polite request to help support this channel by hitting the thumbs up button to show YouTube that maybe they should promote this stream more. Thanks so much, eh?
Yeah.
It feels weird for me to say "a" sometimes because I'm not Canadian, and I was like, I don't know when you guys do actually say that. PG says airplane food makes me scream like that.
I'm
Greek letters.
weird. It's been a while since I've been on a plane, but I do like airplane food.
I've only had it once. You know, most flights are not long enough for me to ever get it. Greek letters says I screamed also. Cooloo, cooloo, coo. That reminds me of this clip. I don't know what that was, but that reminds me of. But I gotta mute that.
Woochie, woochie, coochie, coo, Captain.
SCTV. And we also can look at the poll. That's another thing we can do. Discuss. I didn't even look at it this whole time. Let's see what's happening with the poll.
Let's check it out.
It is. Okay, so the episode that people like better is A Penny for Your Thoughts, 57% over 43, and I agree. Penny for Your Thoughts is definitely the better episode.
Well, I think it's just because of how charming Dick York is.
Yes.
Like he really carries it. And then it's I don't know, it's a little bit more like I just appreciate the character going through the trouble of having to read other people's thoughts, whereas this one is just the classic Twilight Zone sort of formula of, so what does this mean? And you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then a plane blows up. So still impactful, but I like the journey better with Penny for Your Thoughts.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. The 22 is a bit repetitive. We get the same story about 3 times. 2 times the same way. And, well, actually 4 times. The 4th time being its actual occurrence. The actual doom befalling, or almost befalling, Liz. But that does make... And when you only have 20 minutes and you're repeating the story about 4 times... It does get it was fun to play that clip over and over though. And it is the only clip I wanted. Room for one more. Honey. So that was fun. And that's basically all I have for today for this.
I think that's it, yeah.
I think so. So I don't have too much to add to that. I like A Penny for Your Thoughts better. And it's something that I had seen before. I don't remember 22, but I definitely remember A Penny for Your Thoughts. That was memorable in terms of people not always thinking what they express outwardly. And that's true. And you don't know who you can trust a lot of the times, but it's good to I like to think that everyone has decency and everything, but it's not always true. It's kind of like I sugarcoat life. It's like, okay, if you're not being a jerk to me in real life, I'm not worried about what you're thinking. And so that's the curse of reading minds, and why I would not want to be able to do it, and why Hector was glad when he lost the power. And but he benefited from it. He got also it was good that he got the power. He got a girlfriend, a better job, got everything.
And the evening edition of the newspaper.
Oh yeah, that too. I'm sure that was a good read. And I want to thank PG for hanging out with us. Thanks for another great one. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. The glove cleaner, thank you for hanging out and not using any of that glove cleaner. And Canadian Spider-Man, you're awesome.
Yeah, totally.
So it's -1. Greek Letters Larson was here too. Herc 130, of course. And well, let's see. Eraserhead too. Rob writes Gen X Pop Culture. Hope work is treating you well. Max Redstone. Max Redstone was here too.
Old Man Bird.
Old Man Bird. Oh yeah, thank you for the $20 super sticker, Old Man Bird. That was good.
Thank you so.
V Shorts. And oh yeah, thank you for the sticker, The Dead Man. He just throws those stickers all over the internet, and he wants everyone to know that he wants to give you a poop emoji sticker. It's the only time I like to see poop. See. We got Rio.
Yeah, Rio.
Yeah, Rio was here. And I hope Old Man Bird liked this one today, because the first one was a happy ending. The second one, sort of happy, but not
Somewhat.
really, because a bunch of people died. But happy for Liz. She's gonna recover. JD Lewis was here too. He briefly was here. Thank you for dropping in. Gavin Blackburn. Also, Watch Your X. And Storta Poopus. He was here for a bit too. I hope he enjoyed his time here while he was here.
Good to see you, Poopus.
Yes, very much so. Eraserhead. And that's it. If I missed anybody, sorry about that. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. And that's all we have today for this time in the Twilight Zone. Thanks for being amazing. And I hope to see you again next Tuesday. On Friday, we're going to have a daytime shortly this week. And tomorrow, we're going to have a membership stream at the same time we have our normal streams at 11 a.m. My weekly late night shore leave would usually be next Saturday, but I've got places to be for both of these Saturdays. So it's going to be the last Saturday of the month. So I'll remind you guys as we get closer to that one. I have no idea when we're playing Fallout. We might do that by ear and just randomly appear in the wasteland. You just never know.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So until then, I'll see you guys next time.
Bye everybody.
Sigvaldison. Hey, Scotty, I gotta mute you. Okay, so Sigvaldison sent in a super chat right at the end there, but what people don't realize is that I can play the exit video of my channel, and the show isn't over, so I can still thank you for your super chat. So thank you to Sigvaldison for that super chat, and I will see you the next time I see you. Figured you just walk off. Well, I'm playing this for you anyway.
Goodbye, darling. I'll miss you.
And then we'll play the rest of our closing videos.
Learn all that is learnable.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
And of course, I want to read it. Sigvaldison says, "Praise to our eldritch god." And so we'll also play. I need to figure out a video to play for that. I don't really have anything for that.
I'm telling you.
But if
Zoidberg works.
If the eldritch god did escape his containment field, it would be
Game over, man. It's game over. See you around the galaxy.